Hello everyone, and I am returning to Roblox. This is the next episode of Roblox Classics. Today we are playing Zombie Tower Classic. Now this is not the original version because any of the original versions that exist on the original developer's profile are unfortunately broken. But luckily for us, a group, I think they're called Very Productive People, they have brought back to life Zombie Tower Classic, the more modern version of Zombie Tower before it broke, and as well as Zombie Town and Zombie Tower 2 in one other game. But they've brought back to life several of these old titles. So this is the closest that we're going to get to it, so this might as well be the classic version now. And yeah, so thank you to them for bringing these games back to life and they're actually functional. And I probably will do another Roblox Classics on the more modern version of Zombie Tower, probably. But today I'm doing the classic version. This is a more outdated version. You can see it doesn't even have the modern day lighting that Roblox added in like what 2013 or something. So yeah, this is the OG version. As close as we're gonna get to it, that is. And yeah, I remember I played this game quite a lot back in the day. It was fun. Yeah, it's simple and repetitive, but it was fun. It was a challenge to get to the top, especially back then when Roblox's stuff wasn't as it was more broken, more glitchy. That is one thing I have to give huge praise to modern day Roblox is their games when they work really well. Whereas back then, it was probably also didn't help that I played on a laptop that wasn't made for gaming, but still it was very glitchy at times. It was fun though. But yeah, um, and yeah, I don't recall if this game was the most popular game ever, but I remember a lot of people did play it back in the day, including me. And yeah, it was fun. It was a challenge, and the game was very simple. I mean, if you can't tell from the gameplay already, basically this is it. You go through the different floors, kill all the zombies, and then you advance to the next floor. And, well, that's kind of oversimplifying it. There are some floors that have a boss in it, and there are some floors that they require you to go find a key or multiple keys to unlock the way to the next level. So it's not all the same type, but generally it is. The only difference is the zombies, and of course, the higher up you get, the harder they become. Now this is Shrek. This was the king back in the day. Like if you had this weapon in this game, you were pretty much guaranteed to go far back in the day. Usually, this thing was king back in the day, and it still is. It's still super good. And I mean, I've soloed this version many times, but see, this thing is really good. It hasn't aged at all. But I have got the minigun in here, which is actually better than the Shrike. I'll leave it in there just because I have an attachment to it. It's my emotional sentiment, but I do remember I did get the Shrike back in the day. I never got the minigun though, but I do remember seeing other people have the minigun back then. The minigun obviously outclasses the Shrike, and it's not even close. But I don't need to use the minigun very often. This one here is actually pretty good enough. I don't recall if I used this one much back in the day, but yeah, still. And it is a shame that the game slots on the original dev's profile are broken, both of them, because the developer, whose name is No, uh, he or she, they have the most up-to-date version of Zombie Tower before it completely broke, and they actually copy locked it. So you can, I guess, try to fix it if you want to with that. But they also have a much older version of Zombie Tower, the, I guess, true classic one, when there's only two zombies, and it just had the pistol and the sword. But that one's broken. The gun doesn't work on that one. But I do remember playing that version a couple times back in the day. And I do remember, I know Mega Wave for me was to me as a kid back then was like the god tier of all games. I think Zombie Tower was also up there because I do remember a couple times wanting to make like my own version of it. So I think Zombie Tower might have been the only other game I can remember where I actually wanted to create my own version of it. Of course, me being a kid, and that would never come to fruition because I wasn't committed to it. Because games like just require scripting, and you can bet your ass, you can bet that me as a kid with not a lot of patience and want things to get done fast, yeah, good luck. But yeah, I really like this game. This might have been my second highest favorite game next to Mega Wave. It was definitely up there. For sure. And I've always thought about this. Of course, after a while, the old version broke, so I couldn't play it anymore after that. And in fact, for years, I wasn't able to play any form of Zombie Tower. It was just in my memory until Zombie Tower Resurrected was made, which now that game slot by a different group of devs has become something completely different where they're trying to bring back old levels, and they've, for some reason, even though they had Zombie Tower Resurrected perfectly functional, it doesn't let you select it in the menu now in that game lobby, so you can't even play it now, even though it was perfectly functional. And I don't know why. But either way, it was at that point that I was actually able to play a version of Zombie Tower for the first time in years. I'm trying to think as to when the original one broke. I want to say 2015. I want to say 2015 or 16 is when the original broke. So it definitely worked in 14. I think 2015 was the end of the road for it. Or maybe it's something last update. It was either 2015 or 16 when the original just broke and just wasn't functional anymore. If you try to play them, you can still play the original slots, to my knowledge, but they just aren't functional anymore, which is sad. But at least these group of devs, very productive people, have brought them back to life. And I will link this in the description so you can go play it for yourself. The more modern version, which I believe they've titled Zombie Tower Legacy, which I know sounds kind of confusing. You have one titled Zombie Tower Classic and the other one titled Legacy, but Zombie Tower Legacy is the more up-to-date version compared to this one. And I believe that one is the version that existed before it broke. Here we have the first boss. We're going to whip out the minigun. And yes, I remember this guy. This guy was the first boss on floor 10. In fact, if you go to the lobby before you teleport to the map, it actually says 410. So yeah, and there is the minigun for you. And again, even though I never owned this back in the day, a lot of other people did, so I did get to experience it, at least watching it. And I did create, you may have noticed, my shirt's different. I created a shirt with my logo on it. If you want to get it, it's 10 Robux. But you don't have to, but it's there if you want it. And yeah, I figured I'd finally have this again. It's been years since I've had a shirt like this, so it's kind of cool to have it back. And yeah, so yeah, I remember I was a big fan of this game back in the day. And honestly, I gotta say, at least in comparison to Mega Wave, I think this one holds up better. More so the Zombie Tower Legacy version, but I think this one holds up better. There's definitely still some challenge to it, at least when you have the less powerful weapons. Once you get to the weapons that I have, yeah, at least this version is a fucking cakewalk. Almost a cakewalk. Almost. The boss is obviously a lot harder to kill. I'd say it's almost a cakewalk with the weapons, the higher weapons. Like, even once you get to the Shrike, it's almost a cakewalk. So yeah, but when you're on the lower tier weapons, yeah, it's most certainly a challenge still. And again, the Zombie Tower Legacy version is, again, it's more up to date, and that one's harder. But yeah, I remember Zombie Tower being actively updated from when I started playing. I don't recall if I played this in 2011. I must have, unless Zombie Tower wasn't created in 2011. I actually don't know when it was made. But if it wasn't 2011, then at least 2012 to 2015 would be my estimate. Whereas Mega Wave pretty much stopped being updated after 2013. Honestly, yeah, that's when Mega Wave pretty much went into the current state it's in now, where it's just the version that exists, and the only updates that Nelly has done to it is just to keep it functional. But either way, this one definitely lasted longer, so I definitely, in the end, played this for a longer period of time. It's still a shame once it broke, though. Yeah, these things here, they used to be solid block, but they used to be a different color from the rest. But if you go on it, it falls. But if you find old footage of Zombie Tower, they were actually solid colors. But even me, as my kid brain, I don't think I ever fell for those once. I think I do recall falling into it a couple times by accident and just forgetting that it was there. But I'm pretty sure even my kid brain saw those and it was like, that doesn't look great. I should avoid it. I believe that's what my brain tells me, but it could be wrong. But yeah, so I will do a Roblox Classics episode on Zombie Tower Legacy, which yes, it is different. And when I do a video on that, or you play it for yourself, you'll see there is a lot of differences between the two. Even though the titles of them can be a little bit confusing. But yeah, so you did see earlier one of the floors required keys. This is the other one, and I think this is the only. I think this is the only other floor that requires keys. I don't think there are any other floors after this that require keys to get through. But if you look in here, you can see there's these walls, and you can't pass them because you need to collect the keys. Yeah, so and you saw that on the first one too. I just didn't walk up to it, but you can see it in the background if you rewind the video. But yeah, I mean, this game is still super simple, but I personally, actually, I should do that one day. I just thought of that. One day I should do like a tier list of Roblox Classics games that I've done in the video and compare them for how they hold up in modern day. And honestly, the Zombie Tower Classic here holds up a lot better than Mega Wave does, in my opinion. It holds up way better. Again, of course, with me having these better weapons, I'm just breezing through, but lower weapons, yeah, it's still a little bit of a challenge, especially if you don't know what's going to happen, which the first couple times, yes. Of course, me being a veteran and playing this version enough times, literally grinding to get the minigun, I know exactly how I know all the zombie patterns. Plus, I've played the original several years ago, so that automatically gives me an advantage. That is one great thing about being a veteran, and well, really anything, but in this case, I'm talking about games. Is you learn the ins and outs of it, and then you know exactly what you're doing. It's great. But yeah, so one of the floors coming up, I think it's still pretty far away, but you'll see it eventually. It's a floor that has a bunch of lava on it, that's surrounded by lava, and there's paths, and you have to traverse your way through the lava and not get killed by the zombies that pop up. Wait, let me just see. I just sniped it from a distance. But yeah, there's one floor that's like a narrow path, and there's lava everywhere. The zombies will come out of the lava, and I have a history with that floor. I'm saying level. It's a floor. All these are floors, they're not levels. You could call them levels, I guess. But either way, I have a bit of history with the lava one, because the thing with the lava one is that is like a few floors down from the roof. So once you get to that one, you know you're really close to the top. And I remember making it there so many times and dying on it. Hold up. Snakes. But yeah, I remember making it to that floor so many times and then dying on it. You know, either because the zombies had you close to me or I got snuck up upon. I died so many times on that one that even now when I get to that floor, I'm always I'm always alert for zombies, but I'm like extra alert, extra paying attention on that floor. I have some level of PTSD from it because of how many times I made it that far on that floor just to die. And sniped. That's funny, just snipe them. But yeah, the zombies are exactly how they were back then. They come out of there. Although I do remember because the Roblox back then was a lot more glitchy, and I remember sometimes, um, sometimes when the zombie would die, sometimes you would walk over the place where they spawned, and sometimes you would randomly take damage, almost like the zombies is still there. Which is, and I remember that glitch being so prevalent that I would naturally just avoid walking over those, and I still have that instinct today. I tend to notice, I tend to avoid walking on the black squares where they spawn, because I still remember back in the day, sometimes you walk over them, the zombie's dead. Like, on your screen, you can clearly see they're dead. Because in this version, they drop through the ground. But, okay, here's a boss. This thing is horrifying. Just look. Like, what the fuck? Why? Like, look at this thing. It's horrifying. Kill it. Get a fucking flamethrower. Set that on fire. But yeah, anyway, but like on the screen, you can see that they're dead. But sometimes, I think maybe because sometimes the client lagged, so it would sometimes think parts of the zombie are still there, and you would sometimes take damage. Yeah, that was an annoying bug, to say the least. Because eventually it started happening, but here's another one. Yeah, I think this is where there's like literally 4 bosses in a row. 4 bosses. 4 floors in a row that has a boss. That's the second one. Of course, in the more modern version of Zombie Tower, there were a lot more zombies. Which is one thing that is, and there are some guns that are missing from this, as well as the more modern version, I believe. Like I know there was some type of, there was an RPG. Well, this one has the RPG, but they're getting really close. Kill it dead. Okay, kill it dead. All right, but I remember there being some. It was like a wonder something. Like some sort of wonder weapon. It looked like a yellow gun, and I think it would shoot lightning or something. It made electric sounds, and I think it shot lightning. I forget what the name was, but I know some people, a very small group of people had it. But I remember it existing. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember seeing it there. I think it was Wonder something. I think, and yeah, that was a weapon that existed. I never had it. Is this the lava floor? It's the motherfucking lava floor. Here it goes. This is what I was talking about. Because if you see here, they come up behind you. If you're not paying attention, they will come up behind you. But so you see here, yeah. So that's one of the things that doesn't work. But the lava zombies can't sneak up on you because you can, unless they're behind you. But you can see the flames above the lava. Back then, the particles did not go up that high, so they would actually blend in, but now they can't. See, look at that. I mean, it helps me at least. And I remember even in Zombie Tower Resurrected, this floor gave me so much trouble because I would make it this far and die just like it was the olden times. Just like it was old times. So it's going to come out here. Did I go far enough? Yep, I did. Once you play this game know enough, you learn the exact patterns of the zombies and how they're scripted, so you can predict exactly what's going to happen, and it'll happen every time. So yeah, I was considering doing this video on my alt account, but I figured no, I'm going to use my main. And yeah, we are really close to the top now, and yeah, there will be final bosses on the top. But either way. Back to the weapons that existed, there was that one, and then there was, I think the other special one I remember was like a ray gun, which I know I definitely saw more people using the ray gun than that Wonder lightning gun, whatever the fuck it was called. But I definitely remember seeing a lot more people have the ray gun than the other one, and I think that was the last like special weapon that they added. I'm saying special because those costed Robux, like those were game passes. Or, well, actually, I don't know. Game Passes didn't exist back then. What am I saying? They didn't exist. It was, I believe, it was a T-shirt you had to buy or something. Or however, I know T-shirts were VIP back then. So I think you had to buy the T-shirt and then you would get it because Game Passes didn't exist back then. I'm talking about 2012, 2013, and 14. Game Passes didn't exist back then. But yeah, the ray gun was the other one I remember, and I actually did get it in Zombie Tower Resurrected. And it is pretty good. Just don't get close to it when you're shooting. But yeah, I remember those couple of special weapons. I mean, the RPG was special, but I believe that one you could always get with the in-game money. So it wasn't as special as those other ones that I talked about. Because again, the other two that I mentioned, you had to buy with Robux. You needed the T-shirt or whatever to have it. Of course, I never did because, well, I was not financially responsible with my Robux back then. I think this is it. This is the top. Yep, yep, this is the top. So there is a way to cheese this in this game. Because the final bosses, right, you'll see them. See, there they are. So these guys were scripted to just chase you. So you could actually just outrun them and go to the end, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. Because these bosses are programmed to just follow you, if you jump under here, they'll just be stuck up there and can't chase you under. So you can just unleash hellfire on them from below. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, why I do this when you can just run straight to the end? Well, you get money for killing them. And I want that money. Plus, I want to kill all the zombies in the tower. Oh, wow, wow, that was quick. Usually I have to go into the second load, but alright, I'm not complaining. One's down, one to go. Yeah, he has more health. Alright. There he goes. And you can see right there that when they die, they just fall and clip through the ground until they're destroyed. So yeah, it's very minor gore. It's literally just red spheres. But yeah, you could just run around them. They're not very fast in this version. And then you touch the sword, and you would get winner, winner, yay! And you would get a badge for that. Unfortunately, you don't get any money though, which sucks. But I want to take a quick look around the lobby. There's a training room, which you would use to train. Back there, there's a lobby you can go complete, and back here, you can see the bosses. And then in here is like a little secret room, right here with, I don't know what this is supposed to be. I think it's just a little cool thing. Yeah, here's the developer at some point. That's what it looked like. Really fucking cool. And I still want to get a fucking Dominus at some point, but they're really expensive. But yeah, so I think I was gonna do it for this third episode of Roblox Classics, or I guess fourth. But yeah, anyway, this was Zombie Tower Classic, and I'm glad I revisited this, and I'm glad, and I want to thank once again the very productive people group for bringing this game back to life from the dead. And yeah, so once again, this will be linked in the description. So you all can go play it, and I think you should give it a try. I do. It's definitely a classic, and I'm definitely not the only one who remembers playing this back in the day. And I'll be making more Roblox Classics content as well. More episodes of that are coming. And yeah, but with that, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.